Coming up on tonight's broadcast, unauthorized overpayment by ASOSU, Ron Paul gets a valuable endorsement, and gas prices look to be on the rise. All that and more right here on the Beaver News.
Good evening. Happy Mardi Gras. Welcome to your Tuesday night edition of the Beaver News. We're glad to have you with us. I'm Mary Johnson.
And I'm Hayden Wilcox. ASOSU is back in the news this week as yet another controversy arises from within the ranks. Last Wednesday, during a weekly ASOSU House of Representatives meeting, it was revealed that several members of the executive branch were being severely overpaid. As reported by Don Eiler of the Daily Barometer, the total overpayment of these employees adds up to just under $5,000. In search of the source of the misallocation of funds, it was found that ASOSU President M. Tonga Hapoi was the one who granted the payments without first consulting the legislative branch. When asked to comment, Hapoi said, quote, "I never got an idea of what I can and cannot do. We weren't aware that we needed legislative approval," end quote. Last term, an impeachment trial was held for President Hapoi to resolve conflict between the ASOSU and the Oregon Students Alliance, and in order to prevent another similar circumstance, ASOSU is working with the Senate Oversight and Ethics Committee. In the meantime, Senate Bill 7104, which would change ASOSU office hours and type of work, has been tabled until further notice.
Oregon State University Women's Art Annual Exhibit is being displayed at the Memorial Union Concourse Gallery, reports Nancy Buchanan of the Daily Barometer. The exhibit will be here until March 15th. The mixed media exhibit opens yearly to the community, and the large gallery space on the first floor of the MU accommodates a great number and variety of artists responding to the female themes. This year's theme is Healthy Mind, Body, and Soul. Interpretations of art vary widely from abstract, photorealistic, and geometric sweeping. Those interested in submitting pieces next year need to be sure that their pieces can be hung on a wall if two-dimensional, or can be stable or hung from the ceiling if three-dimensional. Maximum sizes and weights can be found on the Women's Center website. Artists do not have to be art students to submit work. Of other requirements to participate in the exhibit, coordinator Susan Burke said, quote, "It's open to anyone affiliated with OSU whose art is female identified."
The Art of Leadership Conference was held this last weekend at the MU Ballroom thanks to effort from the Memorial Union Program Council and the Center for Leadership Development. The conference, aimed at developing leadership programs for the future, featured several keynote speakers for the event who covered several topics ranging from service as leadership, spiritually grounded leadership, diversity mentoring for the future, and staying true to yourself as a student leader. One of the most notable of the speakers was Tim McMahon, who is part-time consultant to the Holden Center and a program development specialist for the Center on Diversity and Community at the University of Oregon. In regards to the conference, McMahon spoke specifically about the differences in our current generation and the one before us. As reported by Katya Kosber of the Daily Barometer, McMahon described the current generation as being more socially undermined and open to diversity than our parents' generations. The second keynote speaker, Alex Polvoy, co-founder and CEO of CloudKick Computing, gave a speech about his experiences after OSU following his graduation, in hopes that it would inspire students to work towards things they are passionate about. Quote, "I think there's a lot of opportunities, but people hold themselves back for some reason. I hope to open their eyes a little bit. I want to see people starting companies and following their passions," end quote. At the end of the conference, 3 lucky students were chosen to receive a $1,000 scholarship.
As week 7 rolls around, one thing comes to mind: spring break. If you are looking for something to do during the week-long break, there's an amazing opportunity for you. A group of Oregon State students are planning a 9-day trip to San Diego, California, in partnership with the organization Students Today, Leaders Forever. The trip is open to any college student in the state of Oregon. The group will start in Corvallis and drive by coach bus down the Coastal Highway 101. The stops are in Eureka, Santa Rosa, San Jose, Arroyo Grande, Carson, and then end in San Diego. Each day, students are able to do a service project in the morning, explore the city as a group during the day, and then do activities as a group at night. If you or your friend are interested in going on the tour, visit stlfosu.org. We now go to reporter Brittany Mangold with a story about student tattoos.
It's hard to avoid the number of tattoos on campus, so why are college students getting tattoos? Today I'll be asking students what they think about tattoos. I'm here with David, a sophomore in forest management. So David, tell me, what do you think about tattoos?
I think tattoos are pretty acceptable. I mean, a lot of them are because of symbology or they have some inner meaning, so yeah, I'm not.
So would you get one?
No.
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 Why not?
I don't know, I don't have anything that I'd want to put on my body that important.
Well, thank you, David.
Thank you.
All right. I'm here with Carol Kahn, a junior at Oregon State University, who has multiple tattoos. So tell me, Carol, why did you get tattoos, and did you have any reservations when you got them?
I got them just because I think they look really cool. I think it's a unique way to express creativity, and it's a really cool art form that I appreciate. I wish I could tattoo, so.
So when you got them, though, did you place them in an area that people wouldn't be able to see? Because I know you have some that if you were wearing a regular shirt, people wouldn't be able to tell that you have them.
Right. Well, at first I did kind of want to hide them up if I needed to be professional or go into a setting with like my grandmas who don't like them. But now, as I'm getting older and society is kind of just adapting to it, and tattoos are being more recognized in the workplace, and they're acceptable now, I think.
I'm at High Priestess Piercing and Tattoo, and this is Kylie, a tattoo artist. And Kylie, tell me, college students, this is right on campus almost. Do you get college students in here for funny joke tattoos or serious artistic expressions of how they feel?
Usually it is, the tattoos have something to symbolize their lives. So I don't get many joke tattoos anymore. Every now and then you'll get a couple, but mostly it's people that come in having a certain meaning for their tattoo, and it's just a way of expressing their thoughts towards life and friends and relatives that have passed. So,
have you seen an increase of students come in throughout the year, or with the bad economy and the rise in tuition? It surprises me that still so many students are coming in and paying for tattoos when I'm a broke college student and tattoos are kind of spendy, right?
Yeah, financial aid is a great thing. The economy has been pretty bad, but however, tattoos are just getting that much more, the desire for them is just increasing immensely. So it hasn't affected us too much. As long as there's students, we get business.
Yes.
Usually in the summertime, we're a bit slower. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Kylie. Yeah, of course. This has been Brittany Mangold reporting for KBVR. Now back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Brittany. Last Thursday, several groups at the from OSU spoke with the Student Incidental Fee Commission to discuss budgetary changes for the 2012-2013 fiscal year. These groups included ASOSU, Student Music Department, and the Educational Opportunities Department. The Student Music Department requested a fee of $4.71 per student in order to cover expenses for new band equipment and rental space and travel expenses. Along with taking the marching band with athletic teams to away games, the department suggested that it use some of the money for larger trips, such as voyages to Japan or New York. The music department director argued that if the funds were allocated to the department, then OSU could establish national and international recognition. Seeing as though this budgetary plan was similar to last year's plan, the budget was passed by the committee. Next, the Educational Opportunities Department requested a fee of $11.31 per student in order to fund over 23 different clubs and miniature organizations under its jurisdiction, one of which includes the Daily Barometer. As reported by Don Eiler of the Daily Barometer, most of the writer's staff for the newspaper work on about $5 an hour, which is well below the state-mandated minimum wage. This proposed budget would hopefully remedy that situation. This budget was also passed by the committee. Finally, ASOSU presented their case asking for a proposed fee of $20.42 per student. However, questions quickly arose pertaining to what ASOSU planned to do about the already misallocated funds in regards to the overpayment in the executive branch. In the end, all budgets were passed. We're heading into our first short break of the evening, but don't go anywhere because when we return, we'll have a sports update and a look at news around the nation. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to KBVR News right here on Channel 26. Start polishing your resumes because Oregon State University's Career Fair is going on tomorrow. hosted by OSU Career Services. The career fair will take place at the CH2M Hill Alumni Center from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Some of the companies in attendance will include CH2M Hill, the FBI, Google, HP, Microsoft, the Peace Corps, and Georgia Pacific, among many others. In addition to the usual companies in attendance this year, Career Services has also included several green businesses to be showcased at the career fair. The engineering-specific fair will be on Wednesday, February 23rd in the same location. If you can't make it to this term's fair, not to worry, because there'll be a career fair each term put on by Career Services. We now go to Mackenzie Allen for a look at your upcoming forecast.
Look at your local forecast. Tonight, expect to see some rainfall with a high of 48 degrees. On Wednesday, the rain unfortunately will continue with a high of 54 degrees during the day and a low of 32 at night. Thursday, we have a break from the rain, luckily, with a high of 52 and a low of 36 at night. Unfortunately, however, Friday, we are back to the rain with a high of 52 degrees during the day and a low of 39 at night. Finally, Saturday, expect to see some more rain with a high of 45 degrees and a low of 34 degrees at night. This has been your 5-day forecast for the week, and back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Mackenzie. When it comes down to dealing with infants and toddlers, it is essential for a parent to have exceedingly good patience and tolerance, but even the best of parents can be pushed to the limit by their child. Recent research by scientists in Bend, Oregon, however, have shown that the relationship between child and parent is even more give and take than we once thought. In a study that discusses the influence of genetic and situational factors in regards to infant behavior, scientists have found that parents who overreact in a negative way to their child's behavior actually perpetuate said behavior. Researchers from OSU, the Oregon Social Learning Center, and many other facilities conducted trials on more than 361 adopted children and families to see how the effects of poor parenting affects a child's behavior. As reported by the university, behavioral measurements of the children were taken at 9, 18, and 27 months of age. What they found was a strong relationship between the chances of a child having more temper tantrums than normal if their parent was quick to anger when incidents occurred. Researchers also found that those children who were subject to environments like these for more than 27 months showed signs later on in life, perhaps even on to school years. Genetics were also taken into account, as children who were supposedly at risk of genetic negative emotionality were placed in low-stress environments. Chief author of the study, Dr. Shannon Lipscomb, said, quote, "Parents' abilities to regulate themselves and remain firm, confident, and not overreact is a key way they can help their child modify their behavior. You set the example as a parent and in your own emotions and reactions."
The backcountry skiing community is in mourning after an avalanche in Washington state killed 3, including a prominent judge for the Subaru Freeskiing World Tour on Sunday, while they were out in the mountains, reports CNN. The avalanche was in the Cascade Mountains, 3 miles west of Stevens Pass ski area. The 2 other victims were John Brennan and Stevens Pass marketing director Chris Rudolph. There was a memorial yesterday at the snowboard ski area in Utah. More than 100 people attended the event.
During this election season, the money is beginning to fly around, and the buzzword in everyone's mind this year is Super PAC. It seems as though every GOP candidate has a Super PAC, made up of generous donators who support a particular candidate's campaign. However, one particular donator has gotten a lot of attention from a lot of people. Peter Thiel, co-founder of the online payment company PayPal, has recently donated $1.7 million to Ron Paul's Super PAC, Endorse Liberty. In a multi-million dollar Super PAC, in this donation, while not substantial, may not seem like a lot, given the fact that Thiel is an online billionaire, until you consider the fact that this was only his recent donation. In December alone, Thiel donated $150,000 and then an additional $750,000, bringing his total up to a staggering $2.6 million, which counts for nearly 76% of the entire Super PAC's reservoir of funds. CNN reports that the entirety of the Ron Paul Super PAC consists of donations from mainly 37 individuals. In the controversy regarding Super PACs, there are many who are concerned with this idea of letting wealthy individuals influence campaign projects, not to mention the legal tightrope a candidate must walk when dealing with supportive Super PACs.
Curfew policy in New Orleans will be implemented this Mardi Gras, making teens under the age of 16 accompanied by a guardian if they are visiting the French Quarter after 8 p.m., reports CNN. Jeffrey Walls, New Orleans police commander, said, quote, we were having kids that were being victims of and perpetrators of crimes, end quote. The crackdown applies 7 days a week, but only in the French Quarter. Other areas of the city will be continued to enforce an 11 p.m. curfew for those under the age of 16, which is already on the books. Wall said, quote, it keeps the kids safe. This is an adult entertainment area, not Disney World. There's really no reason for kids to be out after 8 o'clock unsupervised. It's now time for our final break of the evening, but we will have a look at more of your national and international stories in just a minute.
Welcome back to the Beaver News, live on Channel 26. As of this Monday, an energy agreement between the United States and Mexico will allow both countries to conduct marine exploration in our shared marine environment. The quite literal groundbreaking agreement will allow Mexican and American oil and gas companies to open up nearly 1.5 million acres of underwater continental shelf, or to put it in perspective, an area the size of Delaware. CNN reports that the Interior Department's Bureau of Ocean Energy Management predicts that there might be as much as 172 million barrels of crude oil located in this area, along with 304 billion cubic feet of natural gas. On Monday, U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and the Secretary of the Interior, Ken Salazar, attended the signing of the pact known as the Transboundary Agreement in Los Cabos, Mexico. As of now, the Transboundary Agreement is in the middle of creating the framework for the maritime boundary area. Salazar is very excited about the treaty, having said, quote, this agreement makes available promising areas in the resource-rich Gulf of Mexico and establishes a clear process by which both governments can provide the necessary oversight to ensure exploration and development activities are conducted safely.
Colorado residents want to be able to use gold and silver coins as currency. CNN reports that a bill before the state Senate would legalize the coins. Utah already has a similar measure in place, and 12 other states are considering such plans. Supporters of the bill are concerned about the strength of the U.S. dollar. Senator Kent Lombard of El Paso County said, quote, over history, just about every country in the world that has had a serious debt crisis has intentionally inflated their currency, end quote. Lambert admits that if the bill passes, people won't be walking around with bags of gold coins, but it's an alternative for them to feel more secure with their money. The bill has already been cleared by the Senate Finance Committee and needs to be a vote from the full chamber.
Gas prices may yet be on the rise again as further conflict in the Middle East constricts the already tight grip from oil exportation from the region. CNN reports that Iran has officially stopped exporting all crude oil to both France and Britain in an attempt at a retaliation after the sanctions enforced upon the country by the European Union and the United States. In an interesting turn of events, the substantial increase in gas prices jumped all the way over to the United States instead of affecting European countries. Crude oil prices jumped nearly 2% in America, while moving up by only 0.5% in Europe. Due to this increase, many people predict that the gas prices in the United States may raise up to $4 a gallon over the summer. Dan Dicker, author of the book Oil's Endless Bid, predicts a 1 in 3 chance that gas may even reach as much as $5 a gallon. However, those who drive cars may not be nearly as much trouble as airline agencies who require thousands of gallons of oil just to maintain daily travel. Companies like Southwest Airlines have been hit hard by these price jumps, which means that your next vacation could be in jeopardy of becoming very, very expensive.
A Sunday edition of Britain's best-selling newspaper will launch next week, The Sun announced Sunday, reports CNN. This is 2 days after media magnate Rupert Murdoch said that those plans were in the works. Murdoch announced during a newsroom visit Friday that the paper would move very soon to a 7-day publication schedule. The Sun on Sunday replaces the News of the World, a sister paper to The Sun that was shuttered in July after a scandal. Police in London are investigating the hacking claims as well as suspected corruption involving public officials. 4 current and former Sun employees were arrested earlier in connection with the same investigation. Of the move, editor Dominic Mulholland said, quote, this is a truly historic movement in newspaper publishing, and I'm proud to be a part of it. The Sun's future can now be reshaped as a unique 7-day proposition of both print and digital.
More news this week from Iran, as the country has made a bold move in sending a destroyer and a supply ship through the Suez Canal for the first time since 1978. Needless to say, this has sparked a lot of concern for neighboring countries such as Israel and Egypt. Rear Admiral of the Iranian fleet, Habibullah Siyari, announced, quote, as the Navy affected this region with its presence in the Mediterranean Sea last year, the Navy's 18th Fleet will, in the best way, carry the message of peace and friendship to regional countries and display the might of the country and the sacred system of the Islamic Republic of Iran, end quote. It is the tenderness of the environment of which the Suez Canal is located that worries many people as to what the Iranian government really has in mind. Ever since the United States and the European Union placed sanctions on the Iranian government in regards to their use of nuclear material, many people are skeptical as to what the government has in mind for the region. We now go to Sam Nicholson with the sports for tonight.
Thanks, Hayden. The Oregon State softball team rallied late in the game last Sunday to walk away with a 2-1 victory over Central Florida in the Beavers' last game at the Campbell Cartier Classic in San Diego. The team has now won 5 of its last 6 games on the way to a 7-3 record in their young season, the best start for Oregon State since 2007. With 2 outs in the 6th inning, freshman Yao Garcia hit into right field and drove freshman Madison Bundy home for the winning run. The game was highlighted by strong pitching efforts from junior Marina DeMore and senior Paige Hall, who combined to hold Central Florida to only 2 hits. The duo went 4-0 in the tournament while combining for 14 strikeouts and an astounding .32 ERA. The Beavers will be back in action this Thursday as they travel back to Southern California to host the Cathedral City Classic outside of Palm Springs. Oregon State women's golf shot the second-best round in the 12-team final of the Peg Barnard Invitational on Sunday, finishing tied for 4th in the tournament. The Beavers climbed up the leaderboard from 6th place following their 16 over 300 performance at the par 71 Stanford Golf Course, resulting in the team's 6th top 5 finish this season. All 5 Oregon State golfers improved on their previous scores from Saturday, led by sophomore Lauren Sewell, who finished in the top 10 for the 2nd time in her career. The Beavers will be back on the fairways March 5th and 6th as they compete in the Bruin Wave Invitational hosted by UCLA in Tarzana. After nearly a month of preparation and recovery, the Oregon State women's swim team is traveling up to Federal Way, Washington for the 2012 Pac-12 Championships this Wednesday. The Beavers' last meet was January 28th when they tied the Idaho Vandals, and the team is excited to get back in the pool and compete. Head coach Larry Leibovitz explained the strength of competition at the tournament by saying that he believes the Pac-12 and the SEC to be the 2 most competitive conferences in the country. The Pac-12 currently has 5 teams in the top 25, including number 1 California, top 10 USC, Stanford, and Arizona, with Arizona State rounding out the top 25. The conference meet will begin at 11 a.m. on Wednesday and continue through this Saturday. And that's your look at sports in the Northwest.
Thank you for joining us this evening. Make sure to join us tomorrow, Tuesday at 7 p.m. on KBVR Channel 26.